interesting over in the CONCACAF, that's right, as the World Cup qualifiers resume for 2026. Who will join their fellow CONCACAF nations, the USA, Mexico and Canada, in the World Cup? Well, today we find a little bit more. That's right, folks, back once again with another video today. It is match day number 3, that's right, over in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers, that's right. As what we've got 12 nations competing for a spot in next year's World Cup. Who are they? Where they are? Well, I'll show you all that, of course, and much more in a second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe, you want to subscribe for Blackburn Rovers. World Cup qualifiers, World Cup itself, that's right, all here under one roofski, of course. 3 groups, 12 nations, only a couple of spots remain, though, for place in the World Cup. What am I talking about? Well, I'll show you in a minute. Big shout out to the members of the patrons, you know who you are, but of course, let's of course bring you back up to date with where we are over in the CONCACAF, that's right. So sit tight, hold on, and let's get into it then, shall we? Of course, recapping you where we are in the tables, of course, from the last round of games, and these are the situations as we stand it. Currently, top of the pops in Group A, we have Suriname. They got 4 points for them. El Salvador in second spot. Panama, back-to-back draws for them. Of course, they were the powerhouses. Those are the guys who are expected to qualify, but right now they got a lot of work to do. Meanwhile, over in Group B, Jamaica, back-to-back wins. They're in the driving seat, and they could make their first return to the World Cup in a long, long time. Curaçao, though, also in the discussion. Trinidad, just the 1 point so far. Meanwhile, Honduras, they top the pops in Group C with Costa Rica, also back-to-back draws at the moment for them, guys. So this could be, as much as I love classic nations such as Costa Rica, such as Panama as well, it is quite refreshing when we do get maybe a Haiti or a Bermuda or a Guatemala or somebody like that, or even Suriname for sure. They've never been in a World Cup, but if we can get some of those nations into the World Cup, it would be absolutely crazy to see just the response from the nations, the party atmosphere as well from all these guys. So anyway, that's the situation as it stands. We have 2 games coming at this round of matches, of course, and I think it all wraps up in November. So still got a bit of work to do, still a lot can happen, of course, but we're going to focus right here, right now on the next round of games, and these are those. There's a handful of games right now, 6 of them, and of course we'll have another 6 right around the corner. So sit tight, hold on, and let's take a look at the games then. Now these games are taking place on the 9th and the 10th of October. I'm going to kick it all off with a trip to Suriname, which is on the 10th, of course, which is this Friday. So Suriname currently find themselves over in Group A, that's right, coming into this on the back of a 42% form for them. Just 1 win though in the last 6, because Guatemala, who of course 42% form for themselves as well, winless in the last 3. According to my data, these two sides have not played against each other, but the hosts, Suriname, are on the back of that 2-1 away win against El Salvador, and started off with a 0-0 draw at home against Panama. Guatemala, though, on the back of a loss at home to El Salvador, also a draw against Panama as well. We don't have any odds on this one, which is a bit of a letdown. We haven't got much to work on this one, to be fair. So Suriname at home, they've got to win this game, or at least come out of this without a loss. If they lose this, then they're gonna lose their dominance here over in their respective groups. So and Suriname, if there's ever a country that will go absolutely bananas in the World Cup, it'll be these guys. I'm going to lean towards a Suriname victory here. I'm going with a 2-1 win for them. We'll keep them top of the pops heading into the next round of games, which will be the halfway mark. And of course, we'll see if they can continue that progress going at the end of the end of this October international break. Let's go to the next one. Then it's Bermuda against Trinidad and Tobago, also on the 10th. Bermuda National Stadium is the venue, of course. Bermuda currently find themselves in 33% form for them right now. 2 defeats on the spin for them. Up against the Trinidad and Tobago side, winless in at least the last 6. But they've played each other 4 times since 2008. 2 wins apiece, no draws. Bermuda have a 2-1 win on the record. They've scored 4 goals against TT, picking up a goal a game on average. As for TT, they've scored 2-0 winners. That's their biggest scoreline. 5 goals scored in total over the course of that time, at 1.25 goals a game as well. Now, they last played, it was in Bermuda. It was a 2-1 win for Bermuda way back in October 2011, long time ago. So that was the most recent record between these two sides. And of course, they'll take on each other once again in the near future here. They're playing TT on the 18th of November as well. But so far, Bermuda on the back of a 4-0 loss to Jamaica, also a 3-2 loss to Curaçao. They're probably a little bit at their depth on this one. But if they're going to take on somebody in and around about the same sort of caliber right now, it is TT. But they're coming into this on the back of a 2-0 loss to Jamaica. They did get a point against Curaçao at home. So Jamaica running away with it right now. and they do look comfortable, but TT struggling to score goals. Back-to-back games without a goal now. This was a tough one, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here, which doesn't do anybody any favours, realistically, if they've got ambitions for the World Cup next summer. Meanwhile, Nicaragua, they're taking on Haiti. That's coming out on the 9th, which is this coming Thursday over in Group C. Nicaragua come into this on 1 win in the last 6 matches up against Haiti, who are winless in the last 6, but they've drawn 3 of the last 4. They've taken on Nicaragua twice since 2019, and they've won both of them. That's right. They last played, and it was in Haiti back in June 2021. It was a 1-0 win. That was in the World Cup qualifications as well. Meanwhile, they also picked up a result against them as well. 2-0 winners back in June 2019. Now, coming into this, Nicaragua on the back of a draw against Costa Rica. That was their last home match, but the last match for this whole qualification phase was a 2-0 loss to Honduras. Meanwhile, Haiti, back-to-back draws, once against Honduras at home, the other one 3-3 thriller against Costa Rica to, of course, get themselves 2 points on the table so far. Tough one, this one. Haiti looked decent in the Gold Cup over the summer. Nicaragua, don't know too much about them, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for them at home, though. I think Haiti, the fact that they haven't won in the last 6, they did score a buttload of goals against Costa Rica. But I just think Nicaragua at home will have too much to say in this one, and of course give them a big old boost as they try to continue or give themselves a little bit of belief that they could actually make the World Cup next year, of course. Meanwhile, we go Honduras up against Costa Rica. That's coming also on the 9th. Honduras, Costa Rica also Group C for them. Honduras find themselves just 1 defeat in the last 6. 75% form for them right now up against Costa Rica, coming into this 58% form for them, winless so in the last 4. But if you look at it a different way, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They've taken on Honduras 21 times since 2004. 7 wins Honduras, 6 wins Costa Rica. There's been 8 draws. Now, coming into this, Honduras, I've got a 4-0 win on the record. They've got 30 goals scored against Costa Rica, 1.43 goals a game on average. On the flip side, Costa Rica have a 3-1 win on the record, 27 goals scored in those last 21 games, 1.29 goals a game. Now, the last played, it was a 3-1 win for Costa Rica way back in March 2024. The last time Honduras hosted a game, it was a 0-0 scoreline way back in October 2021. But the recent form book does go in favour of Costa Rica, just 1 defeat against Honduras. That was a penalty shootout back in June 2021. Now, Honduras on the back of that 2-0 win over Nicaragua, back-to-back clean sheets for them, up against the Costa Rica side on back-to-back draws. They need a win, and they need a win fast. This one's a tight one. It doesn't favour Costa Rica at the moment. I think the more likely result here could be a draw. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win, surprise one for Honduras to put them in a real good position to make this World Cup with only 3 games remaining. That's right. Final couple here. El Salvador, they're taking on Panama, of course, another tricky game. El Salvador find themselves just 1 win in the last 6 up against the Panama side, winless in the last 3. They're taking on El Salvador 15 times in 2004. 2 wins El Salvador, 11 wins Panama. There's been 2 draws. Now, of those 2 wins, a 2-1 win was the biggest for El Salvador, picking up 16 goals in 15 games, 1.07 goals a game. As for Panama, they've got a 3-0 win themselves, 29 goals scored in those 15 games, 1.93 goals a game. They last played, it was a 2-2 scoreline way back in July 2023. It was in the Gold Cup. El Salvador's last victory was back in October 2021. They're coming into this, though, on the back of a win and a defeat El Salvador so far in the qualification phase. Up against Panama, back-to-back draws. Drawing with Suriname and drawing at home to Guatemala. So will they have their shooting boots on for this one? I don't know. When it matters most, Panama usually deliver. Going to go with a 1-0 win for them as well to nick this one. And, of course, get themselves back in a spot to qualify. Because realistically, look a bit kind of weird if they don't. And then finally, a bit of a ding-dong classic here. We've got Curaçao against Jamaica at the Estadio Haito. Curaçao find themselves unbeaten, actually just 1 defeat in the last 6. Because Jamaica, 3 wins, 1 defeat in the last 4. They've taken each other twice since 2017. 1 win for Jamaica, nothing for Curaçao, and there's been 1 draw. That 1 draw was the last time they played back in June 2019. Curaçao, though, on the back of a draw against TT, that was on the road back in September, a 3-2 win over Bermuda. Jamaica, though, back-to-back wins when it counts. Pick up a 4-0 win over Bermuda and a 2-0 win over TT to put themselves in the driving seat in this group when it matters most. The Reggae Boys looking good and looking strong. This was difficult. I think Curaçao should not go underrated here. I think they're going to prove a bit of a problem. I think they might even get something. Going to go with a 2-2 draw here, which keeps Jamaica on track, but Curaçao also get a point in the bag and put themselves in a spot to qualify as well if they to pick up some points in the back end of this qualification phase. That is it, guys. That will be the halfway mark for this qualification phase. We'll have a bit more clarity to see who's a little bit closer, who's a little bit further away when we next come back here, which will be in about a week's time. So sit tight, hold on, and very, very soon we'll see you soon. But until then, I'm out.